And we're back, everybody. I want to welcome you to this week's edition of the Get Your Geek On podcast. Finally, all back together in the same room at the same time. I've been Charles KIWACZ.
I'm Robert Dokes.
Anthony Arsenio.
And it's great to be back all together. I want to welcome you to this week's episode. We are here for the second week of May 2017. Coming up on our year anniversary, guys. Hard to believe that we've been doing this that long already. But I want to start this week off, as we do every week, taking a look at the best shows on TV, a.k.a. Sweekly. Coming down to the final episodes here, guys. Supergirl, Arrow, and The Flash. Next week are the finales. So this was kind of like the setup, the ensemble cast just coming together to push us through into this finale and get us into Season 3. And some big developments going. Supergirl, I think, has kind of been petering out a little bit toward the end of the season for me, though.
Yeah, same here.
It feels like when they kind of made that switch from Cadmus to the Daxamites, it just really was unwarranted.
CW seems to have trouble when they, some of the times their transitions, I remember Arrow was better at it, but when they switched from transition from one story to another, especially on The Flash and obviously what I've seen on Supergirl, it doesn't seem to be when they switch plot lines or
it just feels like they were kind of just trying to drag out 4 or 5 episodes to get to the finale, so it's just kind of useless fill and stuff like that. Plus, I don't buy the whole Daxamite threat and everything else like that when the whole point of Mon-El being introduced and everything was explaining how much he's not like Kara power-wise and stuff like that, how much weaker they are and stuff like that. So the fact that they're making it seem like Rhea is an actual physical threat to Supergirl and smashing her around, it's kind of ridiculous to me. But, I mean, you know that they're just going through all this to get Zod and Superman. What do you guys think of the heel turn for Superman at the end? I kind of find it ridiculous that he's so easily psychically controlled. The whole the season 1 finale.
A lot in the comics anyways.
But I'm just saying, as far as for this show, they're not making it seem that the Superman. Season 1, he got taken out and was non-factor because of the Brainiac device, and then now he's how Rhea brainwashed him, we don't even know. But just seems like he's a little too weak when it comes to that aspect.
Well, I mean, he's. I think for a plot device because it's Kara versus her cousin, and they're trying to push that along, but.
I think they might be actually trying to lay the groundwork for a Superman series. He's bringing him back.
No, I mean, we've talked about that before. Tyler.
But I think they're actually really trying to go for it now. I mean, what are your thoughts on what they're doing so far as wrapping up this season?
I always like seeing that guy as Superman. He's great.
He really is, and people hate him so much. I even love the suit. The more that I see the suit,
it's awesome.
It really is. It's straight out of the New 52.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
I think he, by far, that was a really good casting choice.
Right. He's the definition of a TV Superman. It's just it epitomized. But I mean, we'll see what happens with the finale, bringing Zod in. We'll see where we're going to go from there. I don't really think that we're going to lose any major characters with this show. I mean, it seems like nobody's really too expendable as far as what they're doing with the plot right now. I mean, before we move on to Flash, where everything's really going, is there any final thoughts or anything you guys are hoping to see in the finale?
I just like watching Superman be Superman.
Really, I hope that we get a little more of that. I'm interested to see what they do with Zod. I mean, every time they bring Zod in, it's always interesting, but I hope it's not just a one-off. I hope he's going to be the Season 3 villain or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
I think it's a little too much to just waste him for one episode.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'd like to see them kind of circle back to some of the Season 1 villains and characters.
Now, we did get Calista Flockhart back. Yeah. So what were you guys thinking about that? I really like her as Cat Grant.
No, I do. I understand why, for travel reasons, she didn't want to go up to Canada once they moved up there. But she was one of the interesting parts of the show last season with the character. I always loved when it was at the beginning of this season, it was so Clark Kent coming to town.
And I love how she just knows who everyone is. She called out Jimmy instantly for being Guardian. Didn't even look up from him. The moment he saves her, she's texting. She's like, "Thanks, James." He's like, "Well, I'm Guardian." She's like, "I can see your eyes. And you're the only black guy in National City." But moving on to The Flash, where things have been really heating up. I mean, this season has just been incredible.
Pummel.
Really, we got to see just great moments of Savitar being Savitar in this episode. We got to see Wally fighting. I think HR swapped places with Iris. They made it a point to show that face swapping technology again, and stuff like that. And I really think after his mistake of giving up the location of Earth and stuff, I just really think somehow that wasn't Iris that died.
Yeah, I agree.
I recorded my reaction live. I couldn't believe they actually killed her. What were your thoughts on that?
I watched it the whole time with my hands on my chest.
You hear me screaming in my video, no!
But a lot of stuff went down in the worst way possible. Everything just fell to pieces.
It's a that's how you set up your season finale.
I know. I mean, they spent the second half of the season just trying to figure out a way to change the one event, and then it all
That was my whole thing. I was like, I couldn't
anyways.
believe it. I could not believe that's where they went with it. But I don't really think it was Iris. If it was Iris, it's crazy because it's like, where are you going to go with that? I mean, now the big question is what's going to happen next? How is he actually going to defeat Savitar? I mean, which we know from the leaked video and stuff like that, Jay Garrick is going to be coming back. I don't know how this is going to end well for Barry. I think he's going to end up making a deal with the Speed Force or something like that to have to go into the Speed Force. But there's scenes from this new trailer where they appear to be working together with Savitar. Savitar is confronting Team Flash. He's got his hand, like Iris has a hand on his face, and almost looks like they're having to work together. But I just don't know, man. This has been such a big twist, and now the fact that they're so just willing to completely scrap the comic book history, it's really exciting because you don't know where they're going to go. I mean, it's kind of been predictable. Like with Burst Flash, you knew he had Bartholome's methods. With Zoom, you knew eventually it was going to turn out to be Hunter Zolomon. This is just completely new territory here. I mean, they could end up killing Wally or something. Like, it's just, I like this anticipation of not knowing what's going on. I think that the future Barry move was such.
I'd rather have them kill Barry than Wally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but it opens up so much more possibility now. Where shows typically tend to like reach, and once you get to like season 4 and 5, it's more about just keeping the show going. This show is just constantly reinventing itself, finding new ways.
I mean, like they even haven't touched, they haven't even touched most of the Flash's Rogues gallery yet.
Well, we know we're getting the Thinker next year.
They haven't even done the Rogues.
Yeah, I mean, like you haven't even gotten the full Rogues. They've kind of teased it.
They've teased it a little.
Teased it a little bit. But you really, really, really want to have the Rogues, and they haven't had that. They haven't had Rogue War. That would be nice.
I just would love to see Captain Cold as a series regular. So great.
He's a regular on the entire program
for the whole thing. Yeah, for the whole thing. But he's just so great. Like every time he shows up, I've been rewatching the season 1. Just every single time he shows up, it's an awesome episode.
Yeah, Wentworth Miller is an awesome actor.
He's great.
I was thinking because of Rebirth being the whole point of trying to align the TVs and stuff like that, I have a strong feeling next season we might see the Speed Force storm that you say at the beginning of Rebirth here. It creates, like, basically Central City gets hit by a Speed Force storm. Tons of people get struck by lightning and become speedsters and Flash's tram. But like, I don't think we'll get Godspeed because, as they said, it's not going to be a speedster villain next season. But I don't know, man. I'm just really excited to see what they're doing. The show is great to see Savitar's reliance on the suit again, which was really cool. Him teaming up with Killer Frost. Killer Frost becoming more and more Caitlyn, which the eyes didn't light up anymore, if you notice that, this whole episode and stuff like that, and just her seeing the regrets and things like that. But, I mean, what do you guys have hopes for in the finale here? I mean, do you hope Iris lives or dies? Do you want to see... I mean, if it's my choice, personally, I'd rather see Iris die than HR.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's always another Wells in the
idea is there is another Wells.
There's always another Wells in the well.
There's always another Wells. There's not many... obviously there's another Iris, but there'll never be, like, another Iris.
And speaking
if Cisco loses his hands,
that was
I think I'm done with it.
I was so sad.
I don't think I'll watch it anymore.
That was like, please don't lose your hands. Please don't lose your hands. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on the fact that the multiverse has actually been confirmed? Did you guys see that in the news this week? They detected a quote-unquote cold spot out in space that can only be described as remnants of a parallel universe. Like, it's a spot that can't be there physically. Like, there's just no explanation.
I heard about that, but I mean, I wouldn't go ahead and say it's confirmed.
There's another me. I have the documents right there.
It's just something that they can't explain.
What if there's a Bizarro us hosting a podcast right now on Earth too?
Yeah, it's us.
Yeah, we're in every universe. Get Your Geek On is everywhere. But yeah, so we're looking forward to the finale week next week. I'm really kind of sad though because it's that till September that you have to go without. Thankfully, we have people that can send us stuff from the sets and things like that. I know that you guys aren't that big of fans of the show, but I just want to mention real quick, Supernatural's season finale was last night, and game changer for that show. They killed Castiel and Crowley, like permanently killed them, which is... Castiel's my favorite character on that show, so now I kind of have no reason to watch it.
Is he the Constantine guy?
Yeah. But, like, on that show, like, everyone dies, but there's always ways to bring them back and stuff like that. This time, that's it. Like, there's...
Just end the show, please.
No way, man. That show is incredible. Still 12 seasons in. Like, the writing is... And next season, they announced an animated Scooby-Doo crossover.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Bleep that up.
Here's the even better part. They have enough digitally saved recordings that Casey Kasem will be the voice of Shaggy.
That's great.
They have enough to be able to put it together.
I loved in the old... Do you remember Scooby-Doo movies? The show Scooby-Doo movies where they just like hung out with the Three Stooges and stuff? There's one where they hung out with Batman and Robin.
Yeah, a couple times.
And Casey Kasem played Robin and Shaggy, and they were like...
Because he used to do a lot of the Hanna-Barbera characters.
Yeah. So they had basically the same exact voice, and they're having a conversation, noting how they sound similar. I loved that.
So that'll wrap things up for Sweekly this week. Moving on.
Well, we're not going to talk about Arrow?
Oh, yes. What's great on the Arrow show, other than the Deathstroke team up that's coming?
So, moving on.
That's it. That's all of it. So Upfronts for this week, for those of you that don't know, that is where networks produce their new schedules for the fall lineup, telling you what's going to be coming out, and trailers get released for a lot of these new shows. So we got some first look trailers this week. I want to start off with a show that I think we're going to be really excited to see here, and that is Black Lightning, the CW's newest show into the DC lineup. Unfortunately, it's been confirmed that as of now, it's not part of the Arrowverse. But keep in mind, this is what they had said about Supergirl, and that was on a different network when that came in. I just don't see a way these shows continue without that ever crossing over. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I understand that they've set this premise up, but you are on the same network now, and
the same writers.
It's the same writers. So
who's going to tell them they can't have the Flash pop in?
It's like,
or Supergirl, because it's in Metropolis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, that's just wrong.
So, I mean, we'll pick it apart a little bit here, but just overall first impressions of this trailer.
The suit looks great.
The suit looks great.
Way better than it looks in the picture.
Absolutely.
The actor was on the Cosby Show. He played one.
He's on The Wire too.
Yeah, no, he wasn't on The Wire. I don't think he was on The Wire. I remember he was one of Theo's friends on the Cosby Show. And
Rudy.
Yeah.
Awkward Bill Cosby.
Awkward silence. Yeah.
Awkward Bill Cosby thought there. Troubled fave. The actor is good. I like the concept.
Retired superhero coming back
to with a family and wife and kids and fighting a gang.
I like that you get to see the daughter developing powers, that quick little scene there. I mean, I like that you get to see who he was as compared to who he is now, him making modifications. So I just want to know what they're going to do with his powers. Like, can he heal at all or anything like that? Because him laid out in that bathtub made it look like, he's pretty much vulnerable.
Messed up,
yeah. I mean, I think that suit, the new one that we see, might have been used to help store electricity too. But I mean, my thing is like, how are they going to get into it? Because there's a scene where he's basically holding a dude up with his powers at the very end and stuff. But how does that not kill a guy with that much electricity pulsing through? So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I think the visual style of this looked really good. I just don't know how much I'm going to buy into the fact that it's not the Arrowverse. It's like he's going to need help at some point. Like this.
Well, I mean, even outside of the fact that I think it's interesting, one of the things we were talking about is like based on the trailer, I would have loved to see a conversation with him and Joe from Flash, because they're both fathers, they're both parents. They both from the trailer looks like one of his daughters, like you said, is developing fantastical powers.
Well, his kids are thunder and lightning in the
in the comic books, and so the idea is like, okay, you have kids with powers. You need to have somebody who can relate to you, and Joe would be that great foil. Not the foil, but a great character where he could be relating, talking about, I have two sons who are speedsters, and
I like it because I hope this is a character I can learn to love. I know nothing about Black Lightning, so it's a character that I have no expectations going into this show. So all they can do is impress me. I mean, us sitting here saying like it could be a crap show and this and things like that. I just don't really see that happening. I think it might take a little bit to find its audience. But I think that the writing will be.
Yeah, I have no problem with the writing. I mean, I remember before Black Lightning was my first exposure to Black Lightning was when I was a kid, and he showed up in the Super Friends.
Static Shock was for me.
And it was because Static Shock was kind of a play off Black Lightning because it essentially had a similar color scheme, but he showed up in the Super Friends in the '80s as their minority person.
Equal opportunity superheroes.
Equal opportunity superheroes. We have, it's like that him and Apache Chief, and
Apache Chief.
Nunchuck. Yeah, it was. That was my first exposure to him. Then he kind of fell off, and then recently DC has done some digital shorts with him over the last 5 to 6 years, with him and Thunder and Lightning. And if you look it up on the DC Entertainment site, as well as some nice, interesting Green Arrow stuff too.
Here's my thing: is if they can make Vibe into the badass superhero that we've come to know and love, I really think they can do well with Black Lightning. I just think that Arrowverse crossover needs to happen, because I think that that's going to help fill any holes that you might have in the character or his power. I don't know anything about his villains. As far as I'm concerned, if anybody can control water, he's done.
Well, no. Essentially, his villains are gangs. I mean, that's like that was
the 100.
But it's like the idea is that his villains are these street gangs, which you would think with a guy with electricity for a power could
take out a gang.
But apparently, They're like their powers is being the power of the cockroach.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I have the feeling that this, like all CW shows, the pilot will probably leak sometime in July, so we'll be able to check that out. Now, the news that this is going to be a Friday night show. So not only that, which is going to be
slot.
No, that's the thing is ABC has moved their superhero night now to Friday. So Inhumans and S.H.I.E.L.D. will air on Fridays. But that gives DC the 5 nights of the week.
Definitely a death slot for them.
That's a death slot.
This is now we have 5 nights a week of CW shows on or DC shows on the CW. So what are your thoughts on that?
What do we have on Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Arrow's
Arrow's moving
Thursday.
to be behind Supernatural. iZombie, technically, if you want to consider that a DC show. But
I mean, it is. It's a Vertigo show.
Arrow's moving to Thursday?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, which is the death slot for that. They're going to be following or preceding Supernatural. No, following Supernatural.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Well, maybe they want to get more Delp.
be interesting to see what they do with that. Needless to say, I'm excited for the show. I'm going to give it a chance. But just overall ranking that on 1 to 10 for anticipation, how do you guys look? I'm looking at that as a solid 6.
Yeah, I'd say like a 6 or 7.
5.
5. Robert, how dare you? No. But moving on, a show that Anthony and I are not excited about at all, and after seeing the trailer even more so, is Young Sheldon. CBS's desperate pull to make more money from The Big Bang Theory.
Hard pass.
This basically takes place in 1989 and follows a young Sheldon entering high school. Completely new cast. You get to see his brothers and sisters. Although Laurie Metcalf's daughter is playing, who plays Sheldon's mom on the show, is playing the mom here. So we'll see that. But did you guys get to look at the trailer?
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass on this one. The way that it's shot doesn't even look like a comedy. Seems like they spent way too much money on it as far as like the shooting style, the cinematography.
Hasn't the other show petered out anyways?
It's terrible. Like, I was a huge Big Bang Theory fan. The moment Bernadette got pregnant last season, the show just started going off the rails. This season has been borderline unwatchable, and the fact that they just renewed it for 2 seasons, likely to be the final 2 seasons.
They're the highest paid actors on television.
It's just crazy. Modern Family is way better, which I'm glad Modern Family got a 2-season renewal. But
Yeah, Modern Family's funny.
it hurts me to say that Big Bang Theory has become as bad as it has. Basically, the big cliffhanger at the end of this season was Sheldon proposing to Amy.
See, I never really got into that show anyways.
I had moments, and especially like I love the Green Lantern tie, as petty as that is, but it's been absolutely terrible as far as like any type of comedy, writing, everything this season has just been god awful.
You think it's because, when do you think that they jumped the shark?
I think it was when Bernadette got pregnant.
Pilot.
And then moved. Well, no, you know there's actually 2 pilots to that show, right?
Oh.
Completely unknown. But when they moved the apartments at the beginning of this season, that's what did it for me. So Sheldon and Amy now live together in Penny's apartment, and Penny and Leonard are married and live in
I
Leonard's
honestly have
apartment.
no idea what these characters
it's just ridiculous. But
these characters
not
are.
pumped for this show at all. Robert, any impressions on this trailer?
Again, hard pass.
I couldn't believe it got a full 23 episode order. Like,
That's a lot
that's
of episodes.
crazy.
Even like the Flash kind of struggles to keep up with that.
Normally, it's like they
episodes.
give you 6, and then like if you're doing
I
well,
know.
they'll renew you to a full season.
Well, luckily Americans are idiots, so
I
they'll
really,
watch
and
it.
the fact that Jim Parsons narrates doesn't really add anything to me.
Hello.
One reboot or remake here that I am wildly excited about is Roseanne. Roseanne has been announced to be coming back
It's,
for a 15
just
episode
another
season.
right?
Yeah,
An
which
add-on
and
season.
everyone is back.
And they're kind
both
of-
Beckys.
They're yeah.
Both Beckys. Sarah
ridiculous.
Chalk's gonna be playing someone else, but
They're just nulling the last like stretch of episodes.
well, here's the
right?
thing: Roseanne's writing it again as well. Like
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite sitcoms growing up. Like,
Me too,
and
yeah.
I'm such a John Goodman fan. That was the big question with this: is like, how are they going to bring it back? But Roseanne told us like 5 years ago she did an interview about how she would bring it back, and it's saying that Dan faked his death. But the fact that they're back, they literally have all the kids back.
Oh, they're just picking up from right where they
Yeah.
left off.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. So the new setting is it's taken over. So Roseanne and her sister have opened a wildly successful marijuana dispensary.
Are they still rich?
Yeah, Becky's an
From the
author,
lottery or
and
whatever?
DJ works at the dispensary, and then Dan comes back and turning out that he's faked his death. But I mean, that show was
That's
like it
ridiculous.
was revolutionary for its time. The way it portrayed like a working class family, like
It was
honest
amazing.
issues and stuff like that. And it never fell off. I really
No.
don't think that show ever, even replacing the Becky twice, like
Yeah, it didn't matter.
didn't care at all. So that's one that I am super
It was
excited
like
about.
extremely commonplace in the '90s to just replace your
Completely, and not
characters.
even mention it. Although
Yeah.
Roseanne they would do it all the time. You look different, and like just the stupid
I mean,
stuff.
they did it on Fresh Prince. They did it on Family Matters.
The fact though that like they're the entire usually with these reboots you have 1 or 2 people that don't come back. So it's exciting that they have everyone back. The writing staff is there.
plus I just like Roseanne.
I
She's
do too.
nuts, but I like that about
And I
her.
love that the fact that they're going to be opening a dispensary and things like that. Just really, really exciting. And then another reboot or new season of a show that was announced. Netflix has officially confirmed Arrested Development Season 5 will come out next March. Mm-hmm. So the cast will be all back together on that. And it is not going to be the individual storyline episodes like Season 4, which I'm really excited about.
See, I kind of liked it.
It was cool, but I like seeing the interactions.
It wasn't like as great as, Arrested Development was, but I still kind of liked it because it seemed like they were just experimenting with the Netflix model.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think worked out.
Absolutely. I'm just really excited to see that show again. A couple new series, though, that we're going to be taking a look at here, both on Fox and both comedies. So we'll start off with Seth MacFarlane's new Star Trek parody, The Orville, starring him and Adrian Palicki. I think this looks really funny. I think
it does.
I think it'll do really well. Seth MacFarlane writing it, I think that it really has legs. There's nothing like that out right now as far as like the full-on parody.
What do you think the budget is for that?
It looks like it's got a decent budget.
I'm looking at this. I'm like, it's almost on It's like Star Trek levels of makeup. And
just the makeup alone.
Makeup alone and practical special effects.
Speaking of, they released a Star Trek trailer.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery. I'm not going to watch a show that's only on an app.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. And the Inhumans trailer leaked, which apparently...
it did?
Yeah, apparently people are saying the only thing cool in that show is going to be Lockjaw.
Did you guys see it?
I've seen about 40 seconds of it.
Did you see it?
No, I have no... I just saw...
Medusa looks awful.
Really?
That CGI of the hair, terrible. What's his name? The guy that played Ramsay on Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
he looks like the only. Yeah, he looks like the only bright spot. But Lockjaw does look awesome.
Black Bolt doesn't even seem cool.
Blackjaw, he whispers once in the trailer and blows a hole in a mountain, and it's
that makes sense.
I just don't like the guy playing him, and the fact he communicates with sign language.
Anson Carter, yeah, he was on.
Isn't the comics? Didn't he have a telepath with him that would
just
Medusa's
like his right hand.
Yeah,
so.
Like him and Medusa have this language where when he basically Medusa is his
mouth.
When he
for the budget of this show, the fact that it's going to be the first show to air late in IMAX, it just looks like discount Halloween store costumes.
I do wish Medusa was my mouth.
We also did get our first look at Mira from the Aquaman movie.
She looks awesome.
She looks incredible.
Yeah,
and I hate Amber Heard, so that's what's.
She's got colors.
Dude, the suit looks incredible. I love the symbol and everything else like that. But I love the hair, everything. It just that looks really, really good to me. But the Orville, I think it's going to be a funny show. This one though, they've only ordered 10 episodes for now, so we'll see if it gets the full season.
I think that's just enjoy it.
It's brilliant.
I wish it was Galaxy Quest though.
Oh my God, USA is working on that.
A Galaxy Quest series?
Yes.
But now Orville's going to beat them to the punch, so it doesn't even matter.
Although, did you guys see one of my favorite shows USA is bringing back for a holiday movie? Psych. The movie starts filming. It'll be out in December, bringing back the whole crew. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show.
Never watched it.
Absolutely incredible. But next show that we're coming up on Fox looks incredible is Ghosted. Adam Scott and Craig Robinson write and direct this show. The trailer doesn't look that strong, but I've read a lot about the plot of the show and stuff like that, and those two are absolutely incredible.
Right?
Yeah, that's basically exactly what it is the pitch of that. I'm a huge Adam Scott fan.
I love Adam Scott, and I'll watch anything he does.
Exactly how I feel. My favorite sitcom moment of all time is him receiving the Iron Throne in the Parks and Rec episode. I don't know if you've ever seen. He literally has a panic attack, almost passes out, can't believe. It's just.
Did you see him on?
He's like Jason Bateman in the fact that I will watch him in anything.
Did you see him on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes. But they brought out Mark Hamill. Are you kidding? He lost his mind.
So this is the best day of my life.
Yeah. And you could tell that was a dude that was literally experiencing just pure 5-year-old child joy. Mm-hmm. But
He's
thoughts
so
on Ghosted? I think that's one that could actually do well.
I think with Adam Scott's deadpan humor and Craig Robinson's comedic timing, it's just gonna be a good show. It's they're just gonna have these awkward moments of what the F.
Speaking of Fox, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was renewed, which I love that show. If you guys aren't watching that, check that out. But moving on to our news here. So that's going to wrap things up for the... Krypton's trailer will be out tomorrow, so we can check out that. I think that actually could do well.
I don't care.
It's like everything you love about Superman doesn't matter, because this is his grandpa.
Oh, God. Yeah, and it's a world where no one has superpowers. No one has anything. It's just...
In a world.
Okay, all these characters are going to die at some point, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can't get attached to anyone. Who cares? But, so moving on to some news. Right before we went on air here, breaking news that the Venom movie from Sony not only going to be launching their universe, confirmed to be rated R, but Zombieland's director Ruben Fleischer will be directing it, and the cast of Venom has been announced. We have Tom Hardy. I actually like that casting.
Yeah, I'll take that. He's a little old, but
He's like the perfect thing for Eddie Brock.
I'll take it.
And we have our first legitimate rumor of our Reverse Flash from the Flash movie. And I gotta say, he's not big as far as like movies go, but I really, really like the idea of this here. You guys watch Orange Is the New Black at all?
Oh, Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah,
he's in American.
Stash.
Yeah,
it's apparently in the running to be Reverse Flash.
So he's in American Gods right now, and
he plays the Leprechaun.
Matt Sweeney, and
What do you guys think about American Gods? Are you watching that?
I'm watching it.
I was gonna wait till the season was done, and
I'm on the episode 3. Incredible. Sure, they had the most hardcore gay sex scene you've ever seen, like in a TV show this week, which was weird to me. But I love what they're doing with Ian McShane. That's Pablo Schreiber, by the way, which I can see that as an Eobard.
yeah.
But American Gods are really, really incredible. I know nothing about the book, so I never read it. I'm really just
if you know Neil Gaiman's work, it's just like it's.
Now, can I just ask, does Shadow Moon have any powers?
Yeah.
What? What can he do?
What are you watching? If you saw episode 3?
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, but what can he do?
He's weather.
Oh, he controls the weather?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it's like essentially what happens is like when he feels emotional things, it's like he's like.
That's why I know it was raining.
It was like raining. Like when there's certain things that are happening, the weather changes, and that's why he keeps saying, "Think snow."
Ian McShane, though, absolutely incredible as Mr. Wednesday. Gillian Anderson's doing great as Media. Just really, really excited for that. Also, we did get a release date earlier this week. I know it's kind of news, but just because we always talk about it here, John Wick 3 will be out next August.
Oh, thank God.
Sweet.
Absolutely incredible.
Thank you for listening.
Speaking of Ian McShane, he is confirmed to return.
Thank you for listening, because you have to finish this story.
Absolutely.
Now.
Our commentary track will be going up this weekend for that. We're going to be doing a commentary of that with special guest Mark Lehman, who's one of our favorite. I got him to watch it yesterday, and he is in love with that movie.
Yeah, that is.
He's like, it's so simple. They just kill his dog, but absolutely incredible. So we're really excited to see that one. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on Tom Hardy as Venom. So the fact that this is going to be the spin-off movie kind of hurts, because I'd like to see him interact with Spider-Man on this. But I really like the idea. I think that this could save that movie, because he's such a versatile actor. But I don't like how short he is. I think he's a little too short for Venom.
But even outside of that, I think I don't care about his height at this point in time. He portrays the Eddie Brock character. He's done characters in the past, whether it be Bane. Bane's supposed to be this big, huge guy. But I believe him and Christian Bale are about the same, where Christian Bale's slightly taller than him in real life, but they still have this imposing character and made him physical. And I think I want that Eddie Brock, and I think he's that Eddie Brock.
Here's my thing, though. It's not tied into Spider-Man. So what does he do in this movie? Who is there a villain, if there is one? What is the whole point of this movie?
Well, and that's the problem that I have with Sony right now. I understand that you have all these rights to Spider-Man, and yes, you're playing nice with Marvel right now, but it's like you've shown in the past that you cannot do a good movie. You come with an idea of a Sinister Six movie, really?
I wouldn't watch that.
It's like, it's like now you got a great, you're going to tell the story of Venom, but not have Spider-Man in it.
That's just so stupid.
It's like the whole origin of Venom is through Spider-Man. But just quickly, too, I did not write this on our outline, but did you guys see Donald Glover is producing a rated R Deadpool animated show for FXX?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? That dude is killing it right now between Atlanta, Young Han Solo, this.
Yeah, Atlanta, Young Han Solo, Lion King. He's doing a full tour with
Absolutely
his music.
incredible.
I'm actually going to see him in New York in 2 weeks, which is.
You guys see who they
awesome.
cast as Timon and Pumbaa for Lion King, right? Seth
Yeah.
Rogen and Billy Eichner.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. But I think Tom Hardy's gonna be great. Ruben Fleischer, I love as a director, so I'll be interested to see what he does with that. Lastly, for the trailers, the new War of the Planet of the Apes trailer came out, the final trailer, which I am so hyped for this movie. Cannot wait. I love that we're getting to see more of the actual battle. They're kind of making it seem like this might be the final one of this set, though.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Which, I'm cool with that. It's a great trilogy. It caps itself
I don't
off.
want them to peter out either.
Dude, the motion capture, though, has gotten incredible. Those apes look so real. Even compared to the first one of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's just
that looked real.
Come so far. I mean, and Andy Serkis has really developed himself now. He's just the king of motion capture acting. There's no one that's ever.
It's not even to call motion capture; it's performance capture now.
Now it's an Oscar category now.
It's like performance capture, because you see what you've seen characters do in video games. Kevin Spacey was one of the Call of Duties, and just what he did for that was
And then just lastly, as we wrap up our news here with DC, two big, nice, bright spots here. The Wonder Woman, which will be out in 2 weeks, we'll be seeing together in IMAX 3D. Excited. The reviews are out, and it is incredible. I have not read a review that's given it anything less than 8 out of 10. They say it completely rights the DC ship. Strong first female superhero movie. No real plot lags, anything like that. Viable villain, viable storyline. Great setup for a sequel in the rest of the DC universe. Everything says, though, that Jeff Johns had a major hand in taking care of the script and putting it where it needed to be.
Good.
Which I really like. Patty Jenkins was stated in an interview earlier this week that without Jeff Johns, she don't think this movie would have been released.
Good. Thank you, Jeff
I mean,
Johns.
what are your thoughts on this and the fact that DC finally writing the shit? Keep in mind, the reviews for Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman were all pretty abysmal, like when they came out and stuff like that. So the fact that we're getting great critical reviews already.
Well, this is the one. This is the one where you can't mess up on. You cannot mess up, especially in this day and age.
If they did, they'd be done.
Right.
Yeah, you've already messed with BVS. You've already Suicide Squad. I was so hyped for, and then I saw it.
But if you course correct before Justice League, you're forgiven.
I rewatched Suicide Squad for the first time, so it's the second time I saw it the other day. Jesus. That movie was terrible. Like, usually movies like that, you can kind of pick up different stuff.
I found out they wrote the
second
script in
round.
6 weeks.
Yeah. See, the whole thing with this is that, like, they've either had really good action or really good acting. So BVS had really good action, but poor acting.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get too much into, like, the BVS part of it. I mean, the fact that, I want to focus on Wonder Woman, the fact that it seems like they've righted the ship.
No,
so
I want to say
in terms of righting the ship, what does that mean to you guys? What do you have to see in this movie?
That they hit all the points where you have a good level of action, you tell the story, the character, you make us care about Wonder Woman. You make us care about her character, and you set it up for us to, get us into Justice League. Because it has to do those things. It has to make us...
I don't think you're going to get into Justice League for the simple fact this takes place during World War I.
I know, but it's like my hope is that they're telling it as a previous story.
Like a flashback.
A flashback. And so she's explaining to Bruce or whoever, what's happening, how she got here, so that it spurs on the story for Justice League.
The one thing that I've read in the reviews that I'm really liking about this is they say that they've done a great villain in Ares, so much so that like they say that it rivals the Purple Man as far as like Marvel's best villain. So, which I really like with that. But the fact it's course correcting, it's now tracking actually for an $85 million opening instead of 65. So that is absolutely incredible. That's a really great for a female-led superhero, and that's the thing I'm seeing in the reviews. No one's saying like it's great for a female movie. They're just saying it is a great true
just
summer
good
blockbuster.
For Gal Gadot because she took so much flack from everyone when
Her
she was
boobs
cast.
aren't big enough.
Yeah.
You know the thing, and feminists are now saying that they're mad that her armpits aren't hairy.
No, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's legit like a huge smear campaign right now. Like Wonder Woman needs hairy. Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
She's not even fully human. Who knows if they even grow hair?
And I like that they're doing the Zeus origin in this too, which is really cool. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm just really, really happy that it seems like they've course corrected. And then secondly, Injustice 2 is flying off the shelves. Came out this week, and it has already become one of the top-selling video games in NetherRealm's history. Sold 4 million units this week, which if you know anything about video games, that's Grand Theft Auto numbers.
That's a lot.
That's absolutely incredible. I've gotten to play it. Really, really cool. The roster's incredible. Firestorm's awesome. Dr. Fate. Gotten to use some of the skins with Power Girl. Just really, 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 really digging this game. So that's going to wrap things up for news this week. Want to move into our Pull of the Week segment and start it off with a series we've been touching on a little bit over the past couple of weeks, but finally wrapped itself up. As you can see in front of me, I have all 4 amazing 3D covers of the Flash Batman crossover, The Button, written by our hero, Jeff Johns. So this basically opened up a little bit more of the Watchmen mystery that we got in the first issue of DC's Rebirth, with Batman and the Flash teaming up to investigate the source of the button.
It's actually written by Tom King and Joshua Williamson.
But Jeff Johns had a hand in it.
Yeah.
But so what are your thoughts now that it's completed? I think this was hands down the best miniseries Rebirth has done so far.
I think it was really slow.
The 4th issue
The
pays
whole
off,
thing was pretty slow, and then there's not much resolution in the end. It was, but I mean, they gave me what I wanted from it.
I like the tease of Superboy Prime at the end there. So basically, we're going to get a new series in November written by Jeff Johns and a couple other people called Doomsday Clock, and that is going to be the full introduction of Dr. Manhattan into this universe.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Superman versus Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, which I absolutely love. But I mean, this was great as far as like giving you enough of a tease, more of that mystery and things like that. But more than anything, just the moments of Flashpoint, Batman, and Bruce together. That to me was like worth this whole series. Just those brief moments, but his whole
Jay
let the
back.
Batman die with me. We didn't really get Jay back though. That's the thing. We got him back for like half a second.
He's there. It's just that Barry couldn't be the one to pull him out of the Speed
Can we talk about this
Force.
for a second, man? Like,
yeah, it's like the coolest
the
cover
homage
DC's
to the
made.
very first Flash cover. But I do want to say something with these lenticulars. They really did something with the printing here. The old lenticulars I've seen, like the second image is usually just a very tiny difference to the first one. These are completely different images that they've put on these, and that's just something as far as like how that technology has moved along. But I really, really love the fact
And
that
they're good. They're not like hard cardstock.
right.
And
like the fact that they even, what blows my mind more, and I'll actually take this out so that you can see what I'm talking about, but the previous 3D covers that we've done, they had never printed anything on the other sides, but the fact that they got this, and then when you open it up, a completely like luscious Wonder Woman image, and there's no bleeding in between, there's no like carryover or anything like that. I just wonder how they're actually able to print those like that. And the same thing with the back cover. I mean, that's just...
Did you read this at all, Robert?
No, I have not picked it up yet.
What
it
else?
was basically a lead-in to just the last shot, which was just...
Oh, it's so good.
Like, the whole thing was just like setup, 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 setup. And then... Did you notice how much Jay Garrick looked like John Wesley Shipp?
Oh, yeah.
By the way. He looked exactly like him. Just for that.
How incredible is that just to see, though, in a DC comic?
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Now, one series that did wrap up this week that I'd like you guys to read to review next week, if possible, is Star Trek Green Lantern 2, the crossover finish stuff. So
Doesn't that look exactly like John
It
Wesley
really
Shipp?
It does.
does.
Oh, it does. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, synergy, baby.
So those were my polls of the past couple weeks, just because you got to check that out. And I love that they're not overcharging for their friggin' special issues like Marvel does, where they'll slap like a $6 price tag on it.
Oh my god, I've been reading Secret Empire.
Is it terrible?
No, it's amazing.
Is it really?
It's so good.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably the best story Marvel's done in a long time.
Wow. I might have to
Besides
check
Secret
that
Wars.
out.
But I've really liked Nick Spencer's Captain America run with like the whole Hydra cap.
Now, what do you think that it's not the real Cap now that they showed the real Steve Rogers?
It's the real Cap.
Well, what's that panel that I've seen at the end where it's,
It's
like a
just
bearded Steve?
insinuating. It's weird. Like, I really can't explain it. Like, just the way, like, Cap's motivations are unexplainable unless you're reading it, because, like, sort of he knows that he was messed with, but doesn't care. But then he also sort of knows, or he also sort of thinks that everyone else was messed with, and he's the only one that's, like, normal. So his motivations are clear, and he's not evil. It's not like evil Hydra Cap. It's more just like ancient secret society Hydra Cap.
Like,
and
if
his
you've ever
motivations are pure, but you know,
Like, have you ever seen
guy.
like the corporation Venn diagram for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for like it's like these guys, you know, there's Hydra, there's a Secret Empire, there's like the Serpent Society.
But I mean, I've really been liking Secret Empire as well. But it's like $6 an issue.
It's
Granted,
insane.
They're long. They're like 40 pages, but still, come on. It's like almost a weekly comic.
So moving on to our favorite segment here, Anthony's Poll of the Week. Tell us what you got this week, my friend.
Oh God, I'm still having a hard time deciding. So many good things came out.
Well,
this
give us
week.
a couple.
I would definitely say probably at the top of my list, because you got the button covered, but the top of my list probably has to be it was just a Batman issue. It was a one shot. It was called The Brave and the Mold, and it was a team up between Batman and Swamp Thing.
Oh, wow.
It had really, really cool art, like this really vintage noir, like it almost looked like black and white film. Like even with like it had like film bleed to it, so it looked really cool. And it was basically Swamp Thing's father was murdered, like his human father was murdered, and Batman helps him track down the killer. And in the end, Swamp Thing just murders the guy in front of Batman, and then basically tells Batman, "Yeah, piss off, bye," and then just like disappears. So it just ends with Batman on his knees, basically saying like, "No, you used me," yada yada yada. But it was just really well done, and just a nice little breather until we get to the War of Jokes and Riddles, which is coming. That's it.
Sweet. So now moving on, we're going to be launching another great giveaway here from Bat Jeepster Rings. So this week we're going to be giving away a great CW Flash pendant and a CW Arrow ladies ring. So for those, all you have to do is just go to the Nerd Herder or the Bat Jeepster Facebook page, like this video, and comment the secret word, which is Firestorm. So Firestorm from Injustice 2, this week's secret word. So make sure you comment in the comment section of this video on Facebook's Nerd Herder or Bat Jeepster Rings page to win these lovely rings. Make sure you also comment which you'd like to ring. Which you'd like to win, the ring.
Would you like the ring?
Or the pennant. Would you like the ring?
But it's Flamestorm.
So just comment Firestorm, ring, and pennant, and we will get those out to you. And next week, I will have a great new review of my new Sinestro movie ring that will be coming in from Bat Jeepster. Super excited to be getting that one. And then just a quick announcement here. Me and one of the founders of KIWACZ, Nick Smith, are launching a great new network together here. So the Nerd Herder page will soon become Geek Rabble, which is going to be a one-stop shop for some great new shows and segments that we've been putting together. We've got a great new team that we're going to be bringing over to help admin and keep constant things going, but just going to be adding a little bit new, fresh take to the Nerd Herder page, bringing some great videos, original content, shows, interviews, all the like. I'm really excited that my IMDb Pro page was approved, so now I have access to the agents and contact info of every celebrity we could ever imagine to get on this show, and then it's actually crediting us as well. So I think that's going to wrap things up for this week's episode. You guys have any final thoughts?
Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant. Check it out. We're going to be actually reviewing that one. Mark and I are going to go see it this weekend. So remember to check the Bat Jeepster giveaway page. So go to his page or Nerd Herder, comment the word Firestorm and your choice of the Arrow ring or the Flash pendant. The Flash pendant is both for men and women. And check out our great Bat Jeepster review next week. So for this week's episode of the Get Your Geek On podcast, I've been Chuck KIWACZ. Black Lightning it is. Have a week, guys.